Prince Harry and Meghan's recent actions demonstrate that they have little respect for royal protocols. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel for more British royal family news. An expert has suggested that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's recent political commentary aligns with their global image but overlooks traditional royal protocols. The couple's choice to engage in political discourse by issuing a statement about the upcoming U.S. election reflects a departure from established royal customs as they prioritize their international brand. According to a public relations specialist, earlier this week, the Duke and Duchess shared their thoughts via the Archewell Foundation's website, encouraging citizens to participate in the November elections. Their message emphasized the importance of voting as a means to shape community futures, stating voting is not just a right, it's a fundamental way to influence the fate of our communities. At the Archewell Foundation, we recognize that civic engagement, regardless of political affiliation, is essential for fostering a more just and equitable world. By participating in initiatives like this, we aim to amplify the message that every voice matters. Together, let's ensure every eligible voter is informed and empowered to participate in shaping America's future. Typically, members of the royal family avoid political matters and refrain from expressing their views. However, despite stepping back from their roles as senior royals and not endorsing specific candidates like Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, their statement carries political implications. PR expert R. Smith, founder of Atticism, noted that their message aligns with their global brand of acting independently of royal expectations. She remarked that from a PR standpoint, the statement on the U.S. elections is unlikely to have a significant positive or negative effect since Harry and Meghan are no longer working royals. They are unbound by the same rules, and their audience has come to expect them to address political and social issues. They've worked diligently to establish themselves as independent global figures, so this statement fits perfectly with the brand they've cultivated, doing what they please without regard for royal traditions. However, Smith cautioned that while their message resonates with their brand, it could still provoke criticism from those who still link them to the royal family. She explained that while it may not surprise their supporters, their decision to comment on a political issue could raise eyebrows among detractors, particularly those who still associate them with their royal connections and feel they are trying to navigate both worlds. Nevertheless, because they did not endorse a specific candidate, Smith believes this statement will be perceived as neutral in its overall impact. Meanwhile, Prince Harry's decision to step back from royal duties and build a new life in California has been a subject of intense speculation and debate. Some observers suggest that he is content, while others argue that he longs for the life he left behind in the United Kingdom. The discussion surrounding Harry's state of mind and his level of satisfaction living in the United States is fueled by contrasting opinions from royal experts, with some noting signs of contentment and others pointing to his loneliness and longing. Royal commentator Kinsey Schofield recently weighed in on the question of whether Prince Harry truly enjoys his life in California, far from the royal circles and traditions he once embraced. Schofield believes that Harry, who turned 40 not long ago, may be struggling with feelings of isolation. During a segment on GB News, she offered her perspective on how Harry might be coping with his new life in the U.S. Schofield said, 100%. Even without knowing what I know, you have to imagine that this is a young man who grew up in an all-boys school with a bunch of rambunctious guys. A lot of really deep, fun, silly friendships. They experienced something that most people don't. She painted a picture of Harry's former life, one filled with camaraderie, adventure, and the deep bonds that come with growing up in a unique and privileged environment. Schofield reflected on Harry's earlier years attending elite institutions and forming friendships with schoolmates who, like him, shared the rare experience of royalty. As a child of the monarchy, Harry's life was filled with events like Christmases spent in castles surrounded by extended family. Now, the royal commentator speculated that his reality in California may feel comparatively stark. She pointed out how different his celebrations are now, noting he'll wake up and celebrate a birthday with 4 people in the room: his children, his wife, and his mother-in-law. The stark contrast between the royal prince's past and present led Schofield to give a concise 8-word summary of her thoughts: "I do believe he aches for the world he left behind." Her statement alludes to Harry missing the close-knit community, traditions, and unique experiences that came with being part of the British royal family. However, not all experts agree that Prince Harry is feeling adrift in his new life. Body language analyst Darren Stanton offered a completely different assessment, suggesting that Harry is thriving in his new environment. Stanton recently observed Harry during a charity tennis tournament just before the Duke's 40th birthday and described him as appearing relaxed and genuinely happy. Speaking on behalf of Betfair Slots, Stanton shared his observations of Harry at the event. According to Stanton, Harry's body language showed real expressions of happiness and joy. He emphasized that there were no fake or forced smiles, which could indicate deeper feelings of sadness or discomfort. Instead, Stanton saw in Harry's demeanor evidence of someone who's embracing his current circumstances and enjoying the experience. "Harry looks in his element. He looks really relaxed," Stanton explained. "He was even doing a little dance at one point. He seems really happy, with genuine smiles and a state of joy to be involved and to be attending. It's really positive. He seems to be really enjoying his life and having fun." The conflicting opinions from these 2 experts, Schofield's concerns about Harry's loneliness and Stanton's belief in his happiness, reflect the broader debate about how Harry is adjusting to life in the U.S. since stepping back from his royal duties in 2020. Harry has been largely private about his personal feelings regarding his new life. Publicly, he has spoken about the challenges he faced as a senior royal and his desire to protect his family from the intense media scrutiny that surrounded them in the UK. Yet, questions linger about how much he may miss the family connections, traditions, and deep friendships that were part of his life in Britain. Harry's move to Montecito, California with Meghan Markle and their 2 children, Archie and Lilibet, was seen as a major shift away from royal obligations and towards a more independent, albeit quieter, existence. The couple has focused on philanthropic work, media production deals, and raising their children outside of the public eye. For many, this change in pace and lifestyle seemed like a fresh start for Harry, who had often spoken about feeling constrained by royal life. Still, the isolation of living so far from his extended family and the life he once knew has led to persistent speculation that Harry may have regrets. Schofield's assertion that Harry aches for his old world taps into the belief that while he may have gained freedom from royal duties, he may also have lost something deeply personal and irreplaceable: his connection to the royal family and the lifelong friends he made as part of that world. Adding to the complexity of Harry's situation is the well-documented rift between him and the rest of the British royal family. This family feud has been extensively covered in the media, with tensions surfacing publicly on multiple occasions. Despite Harry's efforts to build a life in the US, he has returned to the UK a few times since stepping back from his royal duties. However, his visits have been marked by reports that he has had limited contact with senior members of the royal family, including his father, King Charles, and his brother, Prince William. Harry is scheduled to return to the UK again in the near future, this time to attend an awards ceremony in London. This upcoming visit will mark his 4th trip back to Britain in 2023, but it remains unclear whether any reconciliation between Harry and the royal family will take place during his stay. The ongoing estrangement has cast a shadow over his visits, with some speculating that the emotional toll of the family rift may contribute to any feelings of loneliness or nostalgia that Harry might experience while living in the US. Ultimately, the question of whether Prince Harry is truly content with his life in the US remains open to interpretation. Experts like Kinsey Schofield suggest that he may long for the bonds and experiences he left behind, while others like Darren Stanton see evidence that he is enjoying his new life. As Harry continues to navigate this new chapter in his life, the public can only speculate on his inner feelings, drawing conclusions from his public appearances and the occasional statements he makes about his personal journey. Whether or not Harry will ever fully reconcile with the royal family or return to the UK in a more permanent capacity remains to be seen, but for now he seems determined to make his own path.